Great Scott! The Ottawa Senators. I thought they were in a rebuild. Well, thanks to an excellent offseason and a bevy of young talent, I think we're ready to take a trip. Strap in, we're ready to go 88 miles per hour because we're headed back to the future. Welcome back, hockey fans. Welcome in if this is your first time to the channel. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow, and today it's Monday, August 29th, 2022. That's right, Ottawa Senator fans, you guys, the future appears to be now. We were talking rebuild. Oh yeah, a few years down the line, you're going to be excellent. Well, man, again, thanks to an excellent offseason and these young stars, I think you guys are in a prime position for the 2022-2023 season. We're going to get into it in just a moment on Today in Hockey. But before we dive into the Senators, we got to take a look at what happened today in hockey history. And then we're going to get into it, our question of the day. The Ottawa Senators, are they going to make the playoffs this season? Thanks to Jfresh Hockey, we're going to break down the data, daily face-off, we're going to go through some lineups, and then we're going to dive deep into one player in particular that I think is going to have a huge season, Brady Tkachuk. Stick around for that. If you do enjoy the content, take a moment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. We're just getting started, but we're going to keep making hockey videos every single day. Want to make sure you never miss a beat. All right, today in hockey history, on this date, August 29th, in 1994, the legend Mario Lemieux would announce his retirement from the NHL. Combinations of treatments from the John Hopkins lymphoma he endured and back issues were what contributed to his eventual retirement, but it was short-lived. He would make his heroic return in 1995-96 season, and he came back just as good as he was, honestly. But all right, question of the day. We got the history. The past is the past. What about the future? Well, Ottawa Senator fans, I'm here to tell you that the future, it might be now. So buckle in. We're going to go back to the future because are the Ottawa Senators, are they a playoff team this season? All right. So again, thanks to Jfresh Hockey and others, we're going to dive into it. We're going to look at the past state, the current state, including the offseason, and then we're going to break down Brady Tkachuk because I think he's primed for a huge season. So all right, here we go. Past state. Last season wasn't too great for the Senators. We see the record 33, 42, and 7, good for only 73 points. All right, so 73 points, that's an important number. For context, I think you have to hit the 100-point mark or get really, really close to make the playoffs, okay? So that means they have to make up 27 points. Can this team make up 27 points? So let's see what happened last season. Last season was a little bit of a rough one, right? But we're in a rebuilding phase. It's supposed to be a little dark before it gets lighter. So the good of this season was absolutely the young players developing. I tell you what, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Josh Norris in particular, man, he became a power play dynamo. He put up, how many goals did he put up last season? 35 on the dot, absolutely. Brady Tkachuk put in 30, fantastic. Tim Stützle even had 22. Fans of Tim Stützle, you'll know I'm right there with you. We broke him down. Spoiler alert, he was one of my breakout candidates. Be sure to check out that video. Do appreciate you guys. But overall, their young players really made strides. Drake Batherson, Alex Formenton, elephant in the room. We don't know if they're going to be here, all that news, but we won't talk about that again. As far as last season goes, they played really well. Now, Artem Zub was another one as well, but they already do have some established players as well, right? Thomas Chabot, excellent defender. He only played in 59 games last season, but the moral of the story, I think, for the season, I think the big takeaway was that the young kids made strides. I think you have a bona fide star in Josh Norris. I think Brady Tkachuk is also a bona fide star. You guys, I mean, he could be a superstar if he rounds out certain pieces of his game. Stay tuned. We're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But with the bad, the Tendy black hole, we put it right there. The goaltending position was absolutely atrocious for the Senators last season. Don't get me wrong. towards the end of the year, they turned it on. Forsberg actually had some good games. Gustafsson actually played okay towards the end as well. But Matt Murray, he was the one they brought in to be the savior, and he just didn't live up to it. So it's okay. They moved on. Matt Murray is no longer with the team. I think they did shore up that Tendy spot, but we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. The other thing to call out is the defensive struggles. So again, big shout out to Jfresh Hockey on the player card, or on the team card, and hockeyreference.com for the stats. But we look at the player card, or the team card, again. The Ottawa Senators, man, again, just a lot of red, and red is bad, absolutely. They need to improve pretty much all across the board, but I do see shots for, you do see some blue, right? So offensively, they did do some okay things. Again, Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, Tim Stützle, Drake Batherson, they had some good young players make some strides last season, absolutely. So that was 21-22. What did they do to get better? All right, so current state, 22-23, here we are. So key additions and subtractions, let's take a look at it. Like I said, Matt Murray, he's gone. Gustafsson is also gone as well. And Connor Brown did exit, signed with the Capitals as well, or was traded to the Capitals? Let me know in the comments. I completely spaced on that one. But the big news was who they brought in. Big news of the offseason for Senator fans and Chicago Blackhawk fans, unfortunately. Alex DeBrincat is in town. They traded for him, first-round pick, prospect. It wasn't that much. I know New Jersey Devils fans were a little bitter, like, man, that's all it took, and we couldn't get it done. But the Senators did get themselves a good one. DeBrincat is going to bring a lot to this team offensively. He actually does bring a tiny bit defensively, even though his size. But yes, he is going to be here, another dynamo winger for them. They have him slotted in daily faceoff. Big shout out to them. Has him slotted in on the second line. But I think that's just because Batherson, Norris, and Tkachuk played so well together. I would not be surprised at all to see DeBrincat slot in on that first line instead of Batherson. That would be, that would be something special to watch. And I think that would help Brady Tkachuk, who we're going to talk about in just a moment. But big talking points other than that has to be the tendies position again. We brought in Cam Talbot. He wasn't happy in Minnesota, so they went ahead and pulled the trigger on that deal and brought him in. And the other big talking point, the man, the myth, the legend, Claude Giroux. That's right, Flyers legend goes to the Panthers at the deadline last season. I really was hoping he'd sign with the Oilers this offseason, but he ends up in Ottawa. Shocks the world, and I tell you what, I think that signing is instrumental. Alex DeBrincat, yes, great pickup, more excellent offensive firepower, but Claude Giroux, one of my favorite players in the NHL, is going to bring leadership, going to bring that experience, and he still can bring it. He can still skate, he can shoot, he can pass, he can do it all. So I think the Senators absolutely did shore up their second line. I mean, looking at the projected lineup, Alex DeBrincat and Claude Giroux slotting on the second line, shoehorning Tim Stützle. That's fantastic. Tim Stützle's numbers are going to go up absolutely as well. So, looking at the team and what they put together, I do truly believe that Claude Giroux and Alex DeBrincat really accelerates this timeline. Alex DeBrincat, for example, he's not signed long term yet. They have to make their case, right? Why should you be a part of this long term? If they have a good season this year, and he has a great season in particular, I absolutely could see him signing long term, falling in love with Ottawa, and trying to create a back-to-back championships here, absolutely. But is Talbot the answer in net? That's the other question. They need to shore up the tendy spot. I think they did it with Cam Talbot. He was an all-star last season. I know he was a little peaks and valleys towards the end, but I think he is going to shore up that tendy spot. And Forsberg didn't do too bad in a few games last season as well. So absolutely, I think we're okay in the tendy spot. But who's going to step up on the blue line after Thomas Chabot and Artem Zub? So interesting that they have Zub slotted in on the second line, because Artem Zub was one of the most underrated defenders in the NHL last season. I was really surprised to see the analytics weren't as kind to him, but everything I watched was always positive. He always, sure, he got cooked a couple times, but who doesn't? But he did. I think he had an overall great season, but who's going to join him? Who's going to step up? Which one of these kids? Is it going to be Eric Brandstrom, or is it going to be Jake Sanderson? I'm a huge fan of the USA lad there, Jake Sanderson. I think he's going to be fantastic in the NHL. Could even play on his offhand, right? But they do have him slotted in on the left-hand side. But the other question we got to ask, Josh Norris was a big breakout, had a big breakout season last year. 35 goals. Who's going to do it this season, or who's going to take a stride similar? You know who I think it is? Brady Tkachuk. And I know what you're thinking. Brady Tkachuk's he's the captain. He's already an established star in this league. Well, established star. Let's take a look at his numbers these past 4 seasons. This is going to be his 5th year in the NHL. He had 45, 44, 36, and 67. Sure, we got the COVID short season right there, but 67 points last season was a career high. Goals up to 30 and 37 assists. That was where he really saw the increase, was in that assist. Goals, sure, 8 more goals than his previous career high is fantastic. Absolutely speaks to his development as a player. But boy, 37 assists, that number rising by 14, that's fantastic. Now his shooting percentage did also rise. Took a nice jump, 10%, 8%, 7% to 10%. I fully expect that to continue to start to increase as he keeps gaining experience, as he gains confidence, as he starts learning more and more. I really think Brady Tkachuk, this is going to be the season where he really puts it all together. But let's take a look at the player cards again. Big shout out, Jfresh Hockey. Absolutely love these. So overall, his season didn't grade out that great, right? 64% WAR in his 25 games track. So not a huge sample size either, but maybe we just picked the wrong 25 games, right? We pick a different sample size or even a greater sample size. Maybe that WAR does go up. So I'm not too concerned about that. The even strength offense, 91%, fantastic. Yes, it does scare me to see that 4% on the even strength defense. Friends of the channel know I can't have any defensive black holes on my team, but yes, I do think he will improve in that category as well. One place that I would really like to see him improve is his penalty minutes. I would really like to see him take less penalties. I know we love his physicality. It's a huge part of his game, but man, if you're in the box, I don't care what kind of motivation it gives. If you're in the box, you can't be on the ice helping your team win, scoring goals, making assists, and he does all those things really well. He makes his teammates better. He puts in the effort. One thing I really wanted to call out was the forechecking, his retrieval numbers. It's not too often we see a lot of blue with those guys when we're talking superstars on the offensive side of the game, especially someone that according to the analytics, struggles defensively. But he does make his teammates better. He finds them in good spots. We see that in the passing types with his high danger, 88%. He's in the 88th percentile. That's fantastic. His other passing numbers are okay, right? I would love to see them a little higher, and again, I think they're going to increase, but his teammates percentage, 80%, that's fantastic as well. He's making his teammates better. I love to see it. I truly think that Brady Tkachuk, now that he's surrounded by a little more talent, right? You bring in Claude Giroux, Alex DeBrincat. What happens? You slot, even, we're not even talking first or second line. Now we're talking power play, things like that. Brady Tkachuk really commands the front of the net, uses his body and his physicality so well. I really fully expect that shooting percentage to rise. I fully expect that goal number to rise, but I really expect to see that assist number continue to make another jump, especially with the influx of talent. So, with all of this in mind, do we think that the Ottawa Senators, are they going to make the playoffs this season? We've considered a lot. We took into consideration last season, this season, and the off season, and Brady Tkachuk. We broke down the man, the myth, the legend. So, I think, yes, I think this is the season. I think the Ottawa Senators, they did so much during this offseason. I think that the kids are going to step up on the blue line, and I really think this team is going to improve. 27 points is a lot, but I think they can do it. So, yes, Ottawa Senator fans, you guys should be pumped. I think you guys are going to go to the playoffs this season. Brady Tkachuk to have 50-plus assists. Josh Norris, I fully expect him to cross that 40-goal plateau, continue to do what he does on the power play. Ottawa Senator fans, you guys be happy. Now, that does mean someone's going to be missing the playoffs from that division, because that division is tough. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll go into that on a later date. But that's going to do it for the video today, guys. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, why not? It's free, helps us out a ton, and I really do appreciate it. But until tomorrow, guys, thank you all. Cheers.